In this video, I'm gonna go over a comprehensive guide on buffing wheels and buffing compounds, polishing stainless steel and polishing aluminum. We have a system for polishing aluminum and we have a system for polishing stainless steel and steel. I thought I would go over that for you guys. That way you can kind of have all of your questions answered. I'll be answering little questions as far as safety, as far as raking, as far as how much compound to load onto the buffing wheel as well. So these are all things that you're gonna need to know. And something I do wanna mention is that this is gonna cover, I would say 90% of cases. There's gonna be your 10% of cases where you may be some professional that does this every single day and you may be like, oh, well, I use this and that, and that's totally cool. I'm just going over the general use case for this stuff for most people, for people that are starting out and people that just want a good explanation of everything. That way they can know what to buy for whatever their job is. We'll go ahead and get into first the sanding, because the sanding is gonna be basically the same for both. Whether you're polishing aluminum, this is our aluminum polishing system, or you're polishing stainless steel or steel, this is the system for that. We have our sandings. You're basically going to use either a 5-inch or 6-inch sanding disc, whatever you're comfortable with or whatever the tool is that you have there in your shop. And you're going to typically, some typical rules of thumb for sanding before getting into your metal polishing is if your nail gets caught on the scratch, or if you have pitting or like heavy oxidation or rust, you're going to want to get that out with sanding. And now the coarser you go, the more sanding you're gonna have to do to get back to the 400 or 600 grit scratches that these systems are gonna take out. That means if you go down to a 220 grit, you're gonna have to go 220 grit, 320, 400, or 600. One of the two, 400 or 600. The least aggressive you go, the least amount of sanding you'll have to do to get back to that 400 or 600 grit. I always recommend patch testing or patch sanding a certain area, then polishing that. That way that's gonna encompass the job that you're gonna have to do for if it's yourself or for it's a customer or what have you. That's a general rule of thumb on the sanding. Again, applies to both the aluminum polishing and the stainless steel polishing. Now, I do wanna cover the safety part. The safety flanges that we have here are 4 inches in diameter, and these are gonna work on the buffing wheel like you see here. It works on all of them. These cover the whole 4 inches essentially from here to here. The real important thing about these safety flanges is they cover these metal teeth that you see. You'll sometimes see with some of the benchtop polishers that they have 3-inch plates that comes with them. That pretty much only covers this area. It does not cover the teeth, and that's the important part that we need to cover with these safety flanges. So as you can see here, they both go like this, and you're gonna have your lock nut that tightens everything in like that. But as you can see, that's the important part. These buffing wheels are spinning at 3,500 RPM all the way up to 6,000 RPM sometimes. So this is super important that you buy these safety flanges to protect yourself. So you go home to your wife and kids or boyfriend or whatever. That's just a super important thing. Make sure you use the safety flanges. Then as far as actually raking, here we'll cover the general rules of thumb with raking. As this is on your right angle grinder or your benchtop polisher spinning, basically, as you can see here, these are fresh buffing wheels. They have not been broken in. You're gonna hold this rake up to this wheel. We also sell these in actually 2-handle form as well, but this is the single handle rake. Both do the same thing. It's just a matter of preference. But basically, as this is spinning, you hold this up to here, and this will rake in or break in the edges of this buffing wheel. That way you can go in and go apply your compound or load your compound. And how you do that is basically it's about a second to second and a half as you just kind of round it around this buffing wheel. You don't need to hold it up to it for 5 seconds. Totally unnecessary. You do not need to do that. Just a second to second and a half. And another thing where you're gonna wanna bring your rake back is you're gonna get either aluminum or again stainless steel or steel caked or congealed with the compound buildup that's gonna be on the edges of this wheel. And when there's too much buildup, it's gonna cause some burning on the metal. And that's a cause of a lot of people's problems is they never rake out the buffing wheel again and get all of that stuff off of there. So go in, rake the buffing wheel again, and then go and apply your compound again. That way you're dealing with a fresh surface again when you're polishing. That's kind of general rules of thumb for raking and applying compound. We'll get into the aluminum polishing system. These are what's called, if you see the orange and the yellow or the red and the pink, these are what's called mill treatments. We take essentially this untreated material and we'll go send it to a mill treatment house somewhere here in the States, and they apply a certain starch with a coloring to the material to give it a certain stiffness. It's kind of like sanding. We have our aggressive buffing wheels, and it goes down to the least aggressive, or like the softest. That way you're putting your final touches once you get to this stage, versus this one, you're still kind of taking out scratch marks, if you will. This is going to be the orange is going to be obviously a heavier cut than the yellow. We call this our cut stage, we call this our color stage, and we call this our show shine stage. Usually it's in 3 steps, although you can get away with 2 steps in a lot of cases. You can just do the cut and color, and you know, most people will call it a day. It's maybe, I don't know, 3 out of 10 people that could tell the difference between this 2-step process and a 3-step process. But if it's a labor of love type situation and you want to spend the extra time, go ahead and do this process. We have our triply compound with our orange mill treatment. Then you're going to pair your yellow mill treatment paired with your green rouge compound bar. Then your final step is going to be this Domay flannel super soft wheel paired with the purple compound bar. These things are super fine finishing. It's going to give you an amazing luster. This is kind of what we're known for, is this bar is really going to put the nice final touches on your shine. That's the aluminum polishing. I do have this here. This is our no scratch pink, and it's paired with our UBM, which is our untreated. It's essentially called the UBM wheel, unbiased muslin. These two paired together, if you're polishing, putting the final finishes on, say, woods or plastics, no scratch pink with our untreated UBM wheel. And then we'll get into our stainless steel and our steel polishing, which I have that system here. We have our red mill treatment buffing wheel paired with our SS77 stainless compound bar. It's called stainless bar, although you can use it with stainless steel and steel, or when you're polishing stainless steel and steel rather. But you can also switch this out with our SS11 Black Magic compound bar, which is more of a cut and color, not quite as aggressive as this one, although that one is also, it looks almost the same. It's probably a little bit lighter color black, but that one you're going to use when it's very thin stainless. This one is for polishing thicker metals, non-porous metals, stainless steel or steel, where you need something heavier duty. This is also a heavy bar, so we sell these in small bars as well. Pair that with the red buffing wheel, whether it's a Black Magic or it's this one, pair it with the red as your first step. Your second step is going to be the green rouge compound bar paired with the pink mill treated buffing wheel. You'll sometimes see us pair a yellow airway buffing, or I'm sorry, a yellow compound bar with the pink mill treated buffing wheel. That's also great. Honestly, they're very, very similar. I just kind of put this one here because this is a very universal bar. You can use it for both aluminum and stainless, which helps for a lot of people to not have to buy multiple bars. But yellow is also a great option. You're not going to notice a difference unless you do this all day, every day. Green rouge bar is the way to go with the pink mill treated buffing wheel. And then for stainless steel, our final step is going to be our purple rouge compound bar paired with the UBM unbiased muslin wheel. Now, one thing I do want to mention about stainless steel and steel polishing is that because the metal is thicker and it's non-porous and it doesn't really hold, actually it holds the heat more so than the aluminum. It's really, with this system, it's more aggressive products because it takes a lot more to kind of melt that surface of the stainless steel and the steel and get that metal to move and get it to polish. That's why we have this specific system. It's not just because we want to sell you more products or whatever. It's really that we've developed these treatments to be stiffer and really break down the surface of the metal much quicker than these products here. And obviously the compound bar here is a really crucial step to that process. This is a aluminum polishing and stainless steel polishing. Again, this is going to cover most cases, but if you guys have more questions, please leave some messages in the comments, or let me know how we can help you in your metal polishing process. But thank you so much. My name is Garrett with Maverick Abrasives, Combat Abrasives, and Renegade Products.